It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for the Walking Dead universe. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the post-credit scene from the Walking Dead World Beyond series finale. We already talked about this a lot when it first aired, but at this point there are some extremely interesting recent news that could possibly connect that post-credit scene to something we're gonna see in a spin-off with Daryl. So I'm gonna explain the post-credit story Easter egg from World Beyond and the possibility that it was actually teasing the Daryl Dixon spin-off rather than the Walking Dead movies and Rick. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. Alright, as always, before we jump into this, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive in, but before we do, the Daryl and Carol spinoff has now turned into just the Daryl spinoff. The spinoff will actually be in Europe, most likely France, and Melissa McBride, who plays Carol, wasn't able to commit to relocating to Europe to film. Now, before I go any further, there were a bunch of fans who were attacking Norman Reedus because of this. Now, if you're wondering why the hell would fans attack or verbally abuse Norman Reedus on social media about this, your guess is as good as mine. It makes absolutely no freaking sense. But people have been attacking him on social media for God knows what, and I just think that's ridiculous and it needs to stop. I mean, whoever is doing this needs to get their head out of their ass and grow up. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's move on. So obviously, like I said, the Daryl spinoff will be taking place in Europe, most likely in France, and the reason for that is because of the post-credit scene of The Walking Dead World Beyond. In that post-credit scene, we saw a French scientist being confronted by a man with a gun who asked about the Primrose team and asked whether she was a part of that team. Now, we don't know what the Primrose team is, but I'm assuming that this team might actually have something to do with either the Civic Republic military or the Commonwealth. At this point, it could be any of the two, but she says no, but she says that the Primrose team have gone to Ohio. Obviously, the man with the gun shot the scientist, and as he was walking away, we do see some messages on the wall in French that say, "It all started here," or something to that effect, which I'm assuming is referring to the virus, which again, like I talked about in the past, is possibly a clue that the virus actually originated from France. But as the man with the gun walks away, we do see the scientist reanimate, turn into a zombie, but instead of a normal walker that we've seen in the past in The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead and World Beyond, this one is actually a fast, aggressive zombie. So that's obviously a huge element added to the Walking Dead universe because we've never seen that before. And as the camera zooms out from the door, we do see something related to biomedicine, which I'm assuming is also connected to maybe research that the scientist was doing, which may have led to a disaster causing the zombie virus. But this obviously brings up the question, was that post-credit scene even about Rick Grimes? Was it even teasing something about Rick or the Civic Republic military at all? Or was it teasing at the Daryl spinoff that will be happening in Europe, most likely in France? So was that just an Easter egg for the spinoff? And in my opinion, it's both. I think they were definitely giving us an Easter egg about the Daryl spinoff in Europe. But like I said before, I still think there was some sort of a connection to the Civic Republic military and the CRM. So I think they pretty much hit two birds with one stone with that post-credit scene. Now, whether Daryl is actually going to be reuniting with Rick in this spinoff or encountering any CRM is a different question. And in my opinion, it's extremely unlikely for the Civic Republic military not to have any bases in Europe, given how large they are. Obviously, their only bases could be in the United States, but I think that's a bit of a reach to think that they haven't expanded outside of the United States. Now, you may be asking, how do they get there? They have a lot of very sophisticated equipment, transport, so I don't think that it's a reach that they have some sort of a boat or some sort of a ship that can get them to Europe from where they are in the United States. And the other thing is, obviously, why in the world would Daryl want to go to Europe if there's no incentive? So the only way that that could kind of make a lot of sense is for him to get some sort of an indication that Rick is alive and possibly somewhere in Europe, leading him to want to go there to search for him. Like, I don't see any other reason why Daryl would go all of that distance. The other part of it is, how the hell does he even get there? And I think this is also where the Civic Republic military or Commonwealth could come into play. I think that it's potentially the Commonwealth's connection to CRM that helps the situation. Like, I think Daryl is going to use that potential connection or link between these two organizations. And I think, again, that could also help them hit two birds with one stone. On one hand, that could be a great way for Daryl to learn that Rick is alive because of the CRM thing. And also, it could be a great way to get him all the way to Europe. Before I end this video, I do want to end on another possibility outside of the Daryl situation, because obviously Carol is not going to go with Daryl, but it is extremely unlikely that they're going to kill Carol. It's possible that they're actually going to have Carol have her own spin-off. There's a few things they could do with that, but I think a possibility could be that Carol goes out looking for Morgan. At this point, there's no reason for her to do that, but maybe they could build that up. And maybe on her journey to find Morgan, she crosses over into Fear the Walking Dead. So she'll be another crossover character. Once Fear the Walking Dead ends, then what they could do is have Morgan alongside other survivors that are with him, obviously with Carol, venture out. They could either try to go back to Commonwealth, or they could have them do something entirely different. Now, even if they try to go back to Commonwealth, they could build a lot of story for that. They could have their journey be another spin-off. Like, every spin-off doesn't have to be a long-lasting spin-off. You know what I mean? They could have limited spin-offs, just like the World Beyond one, which is like 2-3 seasons. So the spin-offs don't have to be super, super long. The same goes for the Daryl spin-off and the Negan and Maggie spin-offs. They don't have to be a long spin-off. They could be just 2-season spin-offs. The final thing I want to say, when it comes to the Negan and Maggie spin-off, what we could also see is possibly Negan, Maggie, and Daryl going on a journey to potentially search for Rick. And then what we could see at that point is they have to split. Some of them going one direction to search for clues, and another to split and go somewhere else. And here's where they could have Negan and Maggie split to go to New York, and Daryl split to go to Europe. Now, obviously, if they want to do that, then there needs to be like some sort of story in between to do that. So what we might actually end up seeing is a situation where the Negan and Maggie spinoff, Isle of the Dead, starts off with Carol, Daryl, Maggie, and Negan. And then at that point, they could split and each go to a direction to do their thing, with Carol going a direction where she stumbles upon Fear characters and Morgan, Negan and Maggie going towards New York, and obviously Daryl going to Europe. Now, one other thing I want to mention is, obviously, we have heard that Fear the Walking Dead's production is going to move to Virginia, so that is also another big clue that potentially survivors from Fear go towards Alexandria or something like that, and that could be where they stumble upon Carol and they could have a story with them. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in this video. This video was longer than I wanted it to be, but it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.